I'm one of those who travels with a
Chilies.
potla of green chilies in my bag. In fact, in Nagaland, they make it. Make akhune pork. Bengali definitely is my first go-to, like aloo jhinge posto and kochu shak and ilish mach has to be like hilsa has to be, or like pabda jhol or something. Assamese thing where it's quite it's an mashed aloo
Okay.
recipe. So
Yeah, yeah.
that and the Naga dal, which is
Nada.
incredible. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. Bhut Jholokia chicken wings,
Okay.
outstanding. If you're into spicy food,
Hmm.
please order the Bhut Jholokia chicken wings from 1BHK. It's
Hmm.
outstanding. Like your mouth will burn, but you can't stop eating it because it's just so spicy and so delicious. Oh, it's not us, and why do they eat this kind of food that
Hmm. Hmm.
smell? But who are you to say? Maybe somebody is not okay with the smell of rajma.
Okay.
And even with eggs and all, like even with your scrambled eggs and all, if you cut a little bit of dale, because it's small, like it's tiny,
Hmm.
this tiny, but you can finish an entire meal with half to one of those.
Joining us today on Let's Talk Food is Shiny Gupta. She needs no introduction. We've seen her work. We've seen, just the beautiful roles that she's been picking and, proving her acting prowess. So thank you so much, Shiny, for your time today and for joining us on Let's Talk Food.
Thank you so much. It's really a pleasure talking to you.
So, Shiny, let's begin with Axone. I think, the film left a very lasting impact. Anybody, watches for the first time would want to watch it again just because of, the message that it sends out. So, why don't you tell us about Axone and what exactly does it mean? Yeah.
Axone is an ingredient
Yeah.
actually. It has different names in different parts of the Northeast. It's also called kinema. So it's made out of fermented beans and little beans, and they ferment it for many days, and then they wrap it up in, I think, some sort of leaf, and then once it's fermented, when you open it has a very strong odor, but it's extremely tasty when it's added to food. So you can't eat akhone or consume akhone by itself. You use it as a flavoring ingredient. And it has a very unique flavor and taste and smell, and I really like it. When we were shooting for the film, of course, I didn't know about akhone before shooting the film or reading the script rather, and then I got to know and then I got to taste it. In fact, in Nagaland, they make it. Make akhone pork, or
Mm-hmm.
even in like vegetarian dishes. Depending on it's a preference thing really. But I love Northeastern food and especially Naga food. A lot of the Northeastern food that I like have very very quaint flavors, but also quite subtle, and so yeah, I love it. And in fact, after the film, the film is important not just because it talks about politics of food, which is so important, because we all understand food in different ways, and especially in our country where you find a completely different cuisine every like few hundred kilometers. Bengali food is my comfort food, and there are most of the things that we love are all vegetables that you don't find outside Bengal actually. Like we eat a lot of locally found wild plants and weeds in ponds and stuff like that. So it's quite interesting, and food politics is to follow and to study is also very interesting, and how um, in terms of how we think, oh, that food is not us,
Right.
and especially people from the Northeast have been actually subjugated to a lot of humiliation and subjected to a lot of humiliation because of what people from the mainland, I'm using mainland because they use
Yeah.
the word, treat their food and treat
Hmm.
not only treat them with so much, you know, judgment really,
Hmm.
and the food from there. So it's quite sad because I think the lack of awareness is
Yes.
the cause of this kind of treatment and behavior.
I want to come, to that one beautiful dialogue, that the film has, and it's during a conversation, and it said that you have the right to cook your food, and they have the right to not smell your food. I mean,
Correct.
you're talking about judging food, you're talking about, just the kind of perception that people have about Northeastern food. So, have
Yeah.
you sort of, I mean, this is what we see in the film, but have you also experienced something similar about the cuisine firsthand?
So I remember I was in a creche. I mean, all my life really growing up, and this was on the first floor. On the ground floor, there was this. I never saw them actually, but I only imagined. I think I saw them once or something. So there were these two girls who used to live, and they were from the northeast. I didn't know when. I mean, I was very little, and I remember they used to cook kakra, crabs,
Okay.
and crabs really smell when cooked.
Mhm.
And I remember the creche auntie used to be very upset. And actually, now that you're asking, much like how they show in the film in
Dolly
Axone,
Aluwalia, yes, yeah.
and yeah, I mean not so much, but there is another auntie in the film who's like, oh, so people have that thing of oh, it's not us, and why do they eat this kind of food that smell? But it's, I mean, who are you to say? Maybe somebody is not okay with the smell of rajma, but nobody talks about it because it's become part of the homogeneous culture, in a way. And nothing against rajma, we all love rajma, but I'm saying that somebody else I could be not okay with. Like, I don't like the smell of capsicum, for example, and I don't eat it. But I can't complain if other people are eating capsicum around
Right.
me, Um, and not to trivialize it, because it's really unfortunate that people don't think twice before complaining about somebody else's food habits, which is something that is so basic and so intrinsic to our us and where we come from and our culture.
And you're talking about northeastern food. What are those five delicacies? I mean, if this was your last day on the planet, what would those five delicacies be that you would want to gorge on?
So, wow. Five delicacies or five kind of, because see, I mean
Okay,
the first
five
five will be
times.
Bengali only, probably.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The in I mean, Bengali definitely is my first go-to, like aloo jhinge posto and kochu shak, and ilish mach has to be, like hilsa has to be, or like pabda jhol or something, has to be my first go-to.
Okay.
My second would be sushi, and like a lot of sushi and a lot of hamachi. So, yeah, like lot of
Yeah.
Japanese
Yeah.
cuisine, but not cooked Japanese, like only sushi.
Mhm.
And my third has to be biryani, but
Mhm.
Calcutta style biryani,
Okay.
not
Not the Delhi fake biryani, which is offered.
not Lucknowi biryani, not
Yeah.
Hyderabadi biryani, Bengali biryani with aloo in it,
Okay.
mutton biryani with aloo in it. Um, yeah, like, or either Arsalan ka Calcutta ka biryani, or like in Bombay, Hangla's is like amazing.
Mhm.
It's the closest Bengali biryani.
Okay.
So definitely biryani.
Mhm.
And the fourth would be Kashmiri food, like rista and gustava,
Mhm.
and yeah, like definitely rista. And the fifth has to be, actually there's an Assamese thing where it's quite it's an aloo mashed aloo
Okay.
recipe. So
Yeah, yeah.
that and the Naga dal, which is
Nagada.
incredible. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, uh,
Yeah,
you call
and
Naga dal very incredible. How different is it from what we usually eat at home?
it doesn't have a tadka. So
Okay.
even when I make dal, I don't put tadka. I don't like tadka in dal. So it's boiled. It's very
Huh.
basic. It's just like with, I think, salt and
So,
maybe a little bit of haldi, and I don't know how they make it. But it has something very unique about it. And sometimes they also add the Raja Mircha in the dal, separate.
okay. All right. Okay.
I mean, I've had it in this one place
Hmm.
only, but yeah, the Naga dal is like I can have it all the time. So yeah, but also another cuisine, which is Ethiopian cuisine, is I love Ethiopian food.
Okay.
Yeah, so you have six now. I'm genuinely excited about food
Mhm.
all the time. Food excites me, and food actually, like, my eyes twinkle when I think of
I can see
food.
the glow on your face, even as
So
you're talking about food.
yeah, yeah, but unfortunately, I'm on this
Yeah.
detox diet right now for
Yeah.
the first time in my life. I mean, I really miss. I mean, I'm eating, but I don't eat a lot of
We
stuff
will
that I
come to
love
that.
eating, like
We
rice.
will come to,
Yeah.
the less luscious fare that you're gorging on. I was watching one of your interviews where Bhut Jholokia is one of the northeastern items, and
Yeah, yeah,
I got to know that Bhut Jholokia is one item that even security at airport won't allow
yeah,
anyone to carry in the baggage. I mean, this is
yeah,
insane. Why?
yeah, yeah. In fact, you get there's a place in Bombay called 1 BHK, and this is not a
Ah,
paid promotion, but they do a very good Bhut Jholokia chicken wings.
okay.
Outstanding. If you're into spicy food,
Hmm,
please order the Bhut Jholokia chicken wings from 1 BHK. It's
hmm,
outstanding. Like, your mouth will burn, but you can't stop eating it because it's just so spicy and so delicious. So yeah, Bhut Jholokia. I mean, I love spicy food.
hmm.
Again, one of the things that I
Yeah.
can't eat. Like, I used to eat with every meal. I used to eat 3 to 6 green chilies, like, separately.
Oh
So I
God.
eat a lot of spice.
Hmm,
Yeah, for spice, and I've eaten a lot of spice all my life.
hmm.
In fact, I'm one of those who travels with a potla
Chilies.
of green chilies in my bag.
I wanted to come to that. Yes,
Yeah,
that's what
yeah. So I always carry because a lot of, even parts in some parts of India, you don't get the spicy green chilies,
Yeah.
and the dark green ones, the dark green small ones,
Yeah.
and like, in interior Maharashtra, you don't get it.
Right.
So I used to travel. In fact, Pune, for when I was in film school,
Yeah.
I used to bring green chilies from Calcutta sometimes.
And you would keep them in your bag. That's an honest
Yeah, so
admission.
Pune had those long. Yeah, Pune had these long green chilies which are like no
No,
spice
yeah,
at all.
yeah,
It's
no
like,
spice,
to
yeah.
say at a ghas chabare.
Hmm.
But people like that. I think it's good for certain, like, pakoras and stuff. But
Yeah. Yeah.
I really miss chili. So chili is something that I
Hmm.
do miss. Chili and sugar, because now I'm off chilies also, like any kind of chili. So
Right.
that's definitely. But from you get, I mean, some of the most, like, deadly spices in
Hmm.
the world, you get it in the Northeast. So Bhut
Hmm.
Jholokia being one.
Hmm.
The Raja Mircha that I was talking about.
Yeah.
So Raja Mirchas, you can't even. So I have never tried it, but I was told, because in Akune I was also chopping the vegetables.
Yeah. Hmm.
The sequences that I'm cooking. In that also, I was told not to. So you sort of hold the mirchi from
Ah,
the
ah.
what do you call it? Like, from the stem part of it, little
Yes.
thing
Yes.
that juts out, and then you're supposed to cut it, because apparently if you touch the mirchi, your hand will burn for a long time.
Right.
So it's quite deadly. And then you have dale, which is from Sikkim, which are these small, tiny, round, red
Hmm.
chilies, which are unbelievably deadly. It's
Okay.
delicious. So I have dale kept in my fridge all the time. Yeah, here we are now.
What amazing memories, that you've actually shared with your fans about food, your love for food, your honest admissions about food. This was the spiciest conversation I've ever had in Let's Talk Food. So thank you, Shiny, for sharing all of this
Thank you
with
so
your
much. Thank
fans.
you.